Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of all ages, welcome back to a somewhat another edition of Star Citizen. So today I thought I would do kind of an overview of sorts of how the respawn system is planned to be in Star Citizen. So if you weren't aware, permadeath is technically going to be a thing. Now, when I say permadeath, you can rest assured that I don't mean, after you've spent, if you're like me, and you've spent thousands of dollars on your fleet, if your character dies, that all doesn't, just go away. Basically, what happens is your character dies, but all of your previous assets get inherited by your quote next character. So this article came out quite a while ago. In fact, that would be February 5th of 2013, titled "Death of a Spaceman." So I believe this was something that Chris Roberts himself had written. And he states, "My goal with Star Citizen is to build a universe that I want to play in day after day, one that fully immerses me in the environment and stories that happen around me. In Star Citizen's persistent universe, I want events to happen, governments to fall, wars fought, and players becoming legends. I want to see a galactopedia that grows from week to week, reflecting not just the ongoing content Cloud Imperium plans to continually generate, but also the great deeds achieved by players." So basically, he wants, as we all more than likely, want this malleable, living, breathing universe where our stories and exploits will live on in some sort of record or something along those lines. I'm not quite sure how that's going to be attained, but I'm very, very interested to see how. So, to achieve this sense of a living history, there needs to be a universe where time progresses, characters die, and new ones come to the front. Beyond this, I want people to have a sense of accomplishment when they complete a really difficult training run, or kill an especially infamous pirate. I hate the current game trend in single-player games where the game autosaves every 2 seconds, and if you die, you just start a few steps earlier. This makes you a lazy and sloppy player. I bullied my way through games like Mass Effect or Gears of War, running in, guns blazing, knowing if I died, I would always just respawn a few steps earlier. In Wing Commander or Privateer, you had to complete the mission to move on. There were no mid-mission saves. This created a sense of anxiety towards the end of the mission if you were badly damaged and your shields were low. But if you managed to limp home successfully, you felt a sense of accomplishment. Without the risk of losing something you've worked hard towards, the sense of achievement is cheap. And I can kind of agree with that. Especially some Dark Souls players. I'm sure you can empathize. In fact, Demon Souls, which was the first edition, there's a better word for that. Demon Souls was the first chapter. There's a word, but it's alright. I can't think of it. It'll probably come to me like halfway down. But anyway, the last single-player game I played that gave me an extreme sense of accomplishment in beating it was Demon Souls. How they handled death and reincarnation of your ghost/body was consistent with their world and fiction, and because I couldn't save mid-level, clearing a level, especially after a difficult boss fight, was immensely satisfying. It was also one of the most frustrating games I've played. I think Demon Souls was too much on the punishing end of the difficulty spectrum, but it really did remind me of the value of having something to lose when playing. You can't have light with dark, and you can't have reward without risk. In Squadron 42, this is pretty easy to achieve. You need to complete the mission to move forward, and you can't save while in space. You die, you just go back to the previous save point, normally before you launch the mission. So, I kind of like that. I actually kind of agree. Um, Especially with games like Fallout 4, um, where you can just quick save literally wherever. It does kind of cheapen it, and I've noticed that games that have that mechanic, I do kind of play for less and put down quicker, as opposed to something where I got to drudge through the mission in order to complete it. The tricky part is really how failure is handled in the persistent universe of Star Citizen, as you can't just set back the game to an earlier point. The simple solution is that when your ship is destroyed, you manage to eject and drift in space, where you are picked up and returned to the last planet or landing location to claim your new ship, sans any cargo and upgrades you have, unless you had bought additional insurance, and head out into space again. This is the mechanic EVE Online uses, with the extra wrinkle that if another player blows up your escape pod, a stored clone of your character is activated, respawning your character and effectively making him or her immortal. In EVE, death is allowed for in the fiction and is balanced out by the cloning mechanism, which allows for loss of property but not your character's skills, as unlike Star Citizen, your character in EVE has RPG skills that you learn. So in Star Citizen, you're not going to have like skill trees and skill points. It's going to be legitimate skill. Like so, if you actually are able to pick up skills in dogfighting, well, guess what? Those are yours now forever. It's not like you got to put in something and make your aim better. The death mechanic in EVE is clever and well woven into their fiction. But I'm not interested in making EVE 2.0 with cockpits. One of my goals with Star Citizen is to make it feel very visceral and real. I want to feel the effects of physical damage on my character, loss of limb, or other mishaps that can happen in the danger of space. If my character has been through several wars, I want to see the scars on him or her, perhaps a cybernetic limb, because one was lost in firefight or the wrong side of a dogfight. I want to be able to walk up to another player in a bar and see that he or she is a grizzled veteran with the battle scars to prove it. This is the kind of detail, texture, and immersion that I want to achieve with Star Citizen. I also feel that if everyone can be cloned easily, it fundamentally changes the structure of the universe. You now have a universe of immortal gods that can't be killed. Death is just a financial and time inconvenience that has no further consequences. The life and death cycle of humanity is what has brought us our history, our need to make a mark in our time, to push forward. If I want to make a living, breathing universe that has a lot of the dynamics of a real world and is inspired by the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, immortality for all is problematic. The flip side is that while permadeath is realistic, it's not a lot of fun if the first time you're on the wrong side of a dogfight, you lose everything and have to start again. I want Star Citizen to be immersive and fun. The death mechanics that I have in mind keep a feeling of mortality and history without making it frustrating or killing, pun intended, the fun. So basically, you're going to have, like this base character. Let's call him Bob. So you got Bob, and you're flying around, and let's say you slam into an asteroid, and this is like the fourth time that you've died. Bob is now dearly departed. And now, Bob's son, let's say, Robert, pops up, and basically will get all of his father's assets, armors, weapons, yada, yada, yada. Or, let's take Bob again. Let's say you're Bob, you slam into an asteroid for the first time, and, your arm is off. Well, 'tis but a scratch. No, it's not. Your arm's off. Now, you gotta get a cybernetic. Or at least maybe your character will have scars where the limb was reattached. I kind of dig that, to be completely honest with you. I'm actually really interested to see how that'll be done. So, the life and death of a spaceman. I believe this should be the meat and potatoes of this article. The character creation screen will be done, quote, in fiction. You'll start the game in first-person view, looking at two bathroom doors, one with a male sign and one with a female sign. Which door you walk through will determine what sex you are when you walk into the washroom. So almost like Fallout 4, except you're actually physically walking into the room to choose. Walking up to the mirror, you'll see your reflection. Wiping the condensation off the mirror with your hand or some similar mechanic will change/reveal your facial appearance. Literally like Fallout 4. When you're happy with how you look, and you will exit and return to the UEE recruitment office and officer. You'll fill in your name on the mobiGlas form and also specify your beneficiary in case of death. This could be a family member, son, daughter, uncle, aunt, or someone entirely new, although not another player character. That I'm a little interested in. So what in the fuck does that entail? Because that kind of just flies in the face of everything I just read and took in. Maybe there's some caveat to that or something. I don't fucking know. The UEE Navy has an opt-out option right up until you move on to advanced training, where you would start Squadron 42. So if you just want to jump into Star Citizen, you can opt out right away. If you want some basic pilot training, you could avail yourself of basic and then buy your way out. In this case, the player would just owe a small debt to the UEE that he or she has to pay within a year of game time, or become a debtor. Debtors are denied landing rights on UEE-controlled planets and don't receive any UEE protection until they've paid their debt. So it sounds like as a debtor, you would basically inherit a crime stat, which, I mean, makes sense. A player enters the persistent universe of Star Citizen either after completing Squadron 42, which doesn't need to be successful. Now that is interesting. That to me tells me that Squadron 42 may have multiple endings. Now, don't get all excited that it's been confirmed, but to me that's what that seems like it's alluding to. Or by opting out before advanced training and going straight into the private sector. Most players should have some kind of basic insurance, whether it's lifetime hull insurance for everyone that has backed so far, or limited duration insurance that will come with later ship packages. A player will even be able to take out a small loan to help finance his or her exploits. So I'm thinking probably around 3.1, if all goes according to plan, we might see a little bit more information on this mechanic, with the same penalties for non-payment described as above. You'll be able to run training simulations in the simulator module in your hangar. Think of this like the arcade game in the pilot's ready room in the original Wing Commander, to practice your combat skills with no penalty. But of course, there's also no financial reward here either. When you venture out into space proper, you do put your character at risk, but it will be a long-term one, not an immediate one. I see each character you play having the ability to die multiple times before the character is finally put to rest. Think of this like lives in an old-school arcade game. Science in the future is far more advanced than today. Medicine has the ability to bring people back from what would be considered death in today's world. So basically, it seems like your character will kind of have the option to respawn, X amount of times before that particular character is now dead forever. O'Reilly, move, lay down. Sorry, that my dog's like all up on me. So, if you lose a dogfight and your ship is going to blow, you have a few seconds to eject. Now that I'd like to see, because it doesn't seem like that's been implemented. Because it seems like once your health gets to a certain percentile, or lack thereof, boom, you done fucked up. If you manage to eject safely and someone doesn't blast your ejected avatar, you won't have even used a life. Now that I like. You'll end up back at the last planet you docked on with a new ship courtesy of system-wide insurance. You'll have lost your cargo and any upgrades, unless you manage to insure those, and you were destroyed in a system with a risk level at or below your insurance rating. That caveat, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. That seems kind of, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. If you don't manage to eject in time, or someone blasts your ejected character, which carries a harsh penalty if you do this in civilized space, which thank God, because I don't know if you know, but in the Geneva Convention, this is like considered a war crime. If you fire on a ejected / parachuting individual, don't do that. Your badly charred and almost dead avatar is recovered, and you wake up in a med bay. This is also true if you are killed in a boarding action and your teammates can't or don't recover you. If this happens, it is assumed that your dead body was evacuated into space and then recovered. Every death creates wear and tear on your body. Depending on where you were hit and how you died, your character may require a new body part. That's interesting. Which can either be cybernetic or organic. Cybernetic all the way. I mean, come on. Come on. Eventually, after too many deaths, your character's body will just give out. And instead of waking up in a med bay, you'll be attending the funeral of your fallen character from the eyes of the beneficiary you specified when originally creating your character. If your old character has done something noteworthy, like akin to an in-game achievement, his headstone might read, "Here lies Chris, discoverer of the Orion 2 jump point, slayer of the dread pirate Roberts, and a citizen of the First Order." There will also be opportunities to regain some lives or do a reset. Some of this could be through in-game missions, or it could just involve paying a lot of money to a specialist on a remote med planet that is doing stem cell research. Because of how Star Citizen works, the death of your character is not as catastrophic as it would be in traditional RPGs. If you want to think about it in terms of RPG conventions, the character that you are leveling up and customizing is really your spaceship. Your avatar is really just a visual representation of your in-game character, and because Star Citizen is skill-based, the loss of your character is more of a cosmetic and textural outcome, especially as almost all of the assets you've worked hard to accumulate pass on to the beneficiary you specified when creating your original character. Now, reputation. Reputation and faction alliances pass on to your new character as well, but slightly diminished. If your original character was a pirate, then the new one will also be aligned with pirates, but not as much, and will still be on the UEE watch list. No slate will be wiped clean, but if you want to change your allegiances, this would be the start. This matches life, where the son of a criminal has to deal with the bias of people thinking he is going to be like his father, or a son of a cop is assumed to be on the side of law and order. What I like about this system is that it creates a sense of mortality and history. No one's character will die right away. It will take some time to get to that point, but players will feel a sense of risk, and so will think twice before needlessly risking their lives, as they don't want to burn through their lives. You'll also be able to see visually how battle-scarred someone is. Perhaps having an eye patch or cybernetic arm could be a badge of pride that you've been to war and survived. When a character finally does shuffle off the mortal coil, I love that, the player hasn't lost what he has really put into the game time to build up: his ships, equipment, other assets. These pass to the next of kin or beneficiary, and there is a successor to carry on the family legacy or to avenge the deceased character. "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." This will hopefully create a competition between players to see how much they can achieve in the lifespan of their current character. The ones that achieve greatness via killing a Star Citizen unique NPC or taking part in a unique event like discovering a new jump point or system are recorded in the Galactopedia and become part of the universe lore and history. Now that is interesting, okay? Via killing a Star Citizen unique NPC or taking part in a unique event like discovering a new jump point or system. So from my understanding, there are going to be unique characters, but it's not going to be kind of like Destiny or any of those other ones where that unique character is going to continually spawn. Once that unique character pops up and you gank them, there might be pirates that still show up in that area. I mean, depending on the gameplay and how things get fleshed out, but it's not going to be the same, Dread Pirate Roberts that's there, It might just be another group of Ninetales that show up. And if you're wondering where I got that information, it was from ATV specifically. At the beginning, right around like 2013, 2014, when they started doing like the Wingman's Hangar with that guy, Eric. Oh fuck, I can't remember his last name for the life of me, but Peterson, Eric Wingman Peterson. So anywho, he actually had Chris on, and they kind of went over some of this, and we're talking about the special unique characters. I think that's really interesting. This doesn't just apply to a player character. For me, it's vital that there are non-playable characters, NPCs, both unique and can be killed. In a single-player game, no one minds that many other players have completed the same quest and killed the very same boss monster, because the world only revolves around you. But if you take the same quest in an MMO, which is meant to be a shared, persistent universe, knowing that the next party will kill the very same boss in the same spot breaks the suspension of disbelief. Most MMOs just accept this as the price you pay with having many thousands of players, all expecting to be a hero. Well, not Star Citizen. Major NPCs will be unique, and if they are in a place where they can be killed, they will be killed, but only once. Think of it as a very hard to win achievement that one player or group of players in the game will ever achieve. If you manage to kill the Dread Pirate Roberts, that will be part of your legend, similar to discovering a new jump point or star system. Upon the death of a boss NPC, we won't respawn him or her, but there will be someone that steps in to fill the void. So, the same area of space may now be terrorized by the Black Skull. Major NPC bosses will be a unique scalp for a player good enough to beat them, but almost all bosses will have someone waiting in the wings. So this is the part that I was talking about. So it's almost kind of like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War's Nemesis system, you know? When you go and you kill an Uruk and, slaughter him, if you get killed or something, it resets, and now there's all new war chiefs and so on and so forth that kind of, fill in the gaps. While people may feel my proposed death mechanic may hamper their role-playing of a character they have created an elaborate personal backstory for, I would counter that. It will actually enhance it. There is no reason not to have the same backstory, but now it's the story of your present character and his or her descendants. How many famous people are made and driven by the accomplishments of their parents? Trust me! I realize this game is not going to fulfill everyone's personal vision of what they think it will be. That would be impossible. There will be some things in Star Citizen's game design that will take people out of their comfort zone. That's a good thing. You backed me to make the game in my head, and that's what I'm going to do. I do listen, and when I think something makes sense, I fold it into my thinking as long as it's compatible with the vision I'm trying to achieve. But this won't happen in all cases, so please, keep an open mind. Wait until you have a chance to play Star Citizen. And even then, you should know that we will balance and tweak. That's the whole point of having such a great community so early. For your feedback and ideas, and if something truly is broken for a large part of the player population, we will fix it. We are an online game, and frequent updates and tweaks are a core part of the Star Citizen vision. So now, a little bit of the Q&A section, but I want to pause before we get there. So, much like most things, Star Citizen is not necessarily going to make every single person, ecstatic. Hopefully, it makes everybody at least happy and excited and is at least fun for everybody. Now, I kind of like the idea of having descendants. It kind of makes sense, especially trying to build a universe and having like a space sim. I feel like this is a really interesting mechanic that you have kin and descendants and beneficiaries and shit like that. I also like the fact that if you kill unique NPCs, it'll kind of go on your record. You know, oh, that's going on your permanent record, you know. I'm really interested to see that mechanic get fleshed out a little bit more. And I wonder if when you kill, you know, Dread Pirate Roberts and you go back for the Black Skull, will it be the Black Skull when you get there? Will there be a boss NPC there? I mean, it seems like it. So will you be able to have a string of boss kills? And it's like, here lies Will, Destroyer of Dread Pirate Roberts, Conqueror of the Black Skulls, Stomper of the Nine Tails, cornucopia of catastrophic conundrums. I don't fucking know. I think some of that could be pretty cool, especially if you can kind of put in your own description. So down in the Q&A, what qualifies as a death? Not ejecting before your ship blows up, taking a headshot during boarding, having your ejected pilot or escape pod targeted and destroyed while floating in space. How many lives will I get? The exact number of lives will be balanced as development of the game progresses. I'm really excited for the anniversary stream. What's wrong, buddy? I'm really excited for the anniversary holiday stream. I'm so stoked to see Squadron 42. So let me hop on over here. Morrow Tour. So let me give you a quick... that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Boy, howdy, that's loud.
And I will warn you, there are some dialogue sync issues in a part of this, but here we go, let's watch it.
So this is the slice that we saw of Squadron 42.
To Stanton. 85 to Stanton. Got a late transfer and a last batch of supplies. Requesting permission to land.
Stand by. Hold for landing assignment. You're clear to land.
Copy. On approach.
Keep in mind, this is from 2015.
This is you.
Oh hey, you must be the new pilot. Geez, they really got you jammed in here, huh? Welcome to the Stanton. I'm Eugene Morrow, Chief Engineer.
Get out of the way. What's the number on that one?
This one's ID 523R6.
Okay, got it.
Excuse me, sir.
Seriously, Morrow? I'll tell you when we find your converters. You? Lieutenant Commander Kelly wants you to report to the briefing room?
Jeez, Webb. That's how you welcome someone aboard? You're not even going to introduce yourself.
I'm Petty Officer Webster, Chief Mechanic. You should go to the briefing room.
You're hopeless, Webb.
I'm busy.
I'm heading to engineering. I can give you the tour.
If he has a map, he'll be fine.
Tour sounds great. Great! It'll only take 2 seconds. I'll wait for you by the stairs.
All good. So you think they're gonna last longer than heater?
Anybody will last longer in heater. Old man hated heater. Question is, will they last longer in low ball?
Well, standard bet.
You're on.
You might want to steer.
takes a little while to warm up. I've been here a year. She only asked me how I was doing for the first time last week. The only person I ever see her hang out with is Kelly, and I'm pretty sure all they talk about is work. Anyway.
I want an Idris so bad. So bad.
All entries must be immediately reported to your supervisor.
This is flight control, and this gentleman here is the one and only flight operator, Aaron Sitow.
Hey, new pilot, right? I'm sure you'll hear this all day, but welcome aboard the Stanton. I'm going to be the voice in your head while you're flying. Don't you worry, though. I'll be gentle. Oh, did you hear about Claude? He's on PD.
What did he do?
No idea, but apparently he really ticked off Kenny.
Connie's not going to believe this.
Flight ops. Flight ops, this is AV-1. Come back.
Better go. AV-1, this is Flight Ops. I've got you. Just waiting for some traffic to clear the deck, but we can...
We better get out of his hair. Next stop, the main deck. Zito's great, but a bit of a gossip. Don't tell him anything you don't want the whole crew to know. Rumour has it that's why his ex left. But he's probably better off. Told me she had a gambling problem.
You seen Luther since you got back?
No. Why?
Why? Quite a short.
Yeah? What did he do? Try to figure out a new way to minimize power leaks? Or did he go real crazy and run simulations on the latest conduit systems?
He got banned from Tasha's bar.
Start from the top.
Prepare yourself, my son. This.
And here's the mess hall. Hey everyone, this is a new pilot. Barracks in the heads through here too. Yeah, chow's pretty good. Never try the lamb, no matter what anyone tells you.
Refer to your handbooks for a complete list of contraband items. Have your declarations ready for
There you are. Did you get the converters? White wants an ETA on that relay.
Right. I might need you to grab them from Webb while I finish taking a new pilot to the briefing room. Connie, new pilot. New pilot, Starman Connie Hayes.
The Morrow Experience Tour. Lucky you. I'll go speak to her.
Ah, you're the best, Connie. Oh, remind me to tell you about Claude later.
I'm sure you will.
The Stanton's been in service for a while now. Keeps us engineers busy. But I guess it's a hell of a lot more interesting than serving on a new ship where hardly anything needs fixing. Actually, little known fact. Back when Captain White was a starman, his first assignment was on a Stanton. When he got his commission later on, he requested her special.
As you can see, the Idris is quite a big ship.
Hey, Joaquin! You hear Claude's on punishment detail again? Apparently Kelly said this is his last chance.
What do you do?
I'll tell you about it later, after I finish giving the new pilot a tour. You two haven't formally met yet, right?
Starman watching the stagger, sir. Hey, I better get this to the doc. I want to hear the rest.
Keem's a great guy. Amazing to think he was fiending on Widow a few years ago.
It's running hot.
There's something missing. The junction right, but for some reason it's spilling.
Woodrow just sent me an update. It's getting slurry.
Alright, so instead of going through the rest of it, I know there's like still about 5 minutes or so, but that is more or less all that was ever shown of Squadron 42. Basically, a very small walkthrough of the Idris. And now here we are 2 years later, and the Idris is now fully flyable in engine. So I am beyond stoked to see the progress that Squadron 42 has taken. If you guys have any questions or anything about the idea or the general protocol of how these type of things are going to work, leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. There are some aspects of this that I am still looking into. I'll also put this in the description, so that way you guys can come back, take a look at it, bookmark it, things like that. If you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, leave a like, leave a comment, letting me know that you want to see more of this. I always go through all the comments. YouTube sometimes doesn't like to show or tell me that I have comments or notifications, so if I don't get back to you, hang in there. I will eventually. And I am, in fact, planning a 3.0 live stream and group play, like a legitimate Let's Play, where I want to try to have as many people from the channel as possible play. You know, let's get some big multi-crew ships, fucking fill them to the brim with people, go out there and take part in all sorts of interplanetary fuckery, because in my opinion, that's the best type of fuckery, especially with friends. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see more things like this, leave a like, leave a comment, and all you beautiful bastards out there, have a wonderful day. Peace.